everybody. This is Amin.
It's Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. But before we go right into the topic today, I just want to remind everybody that hey, we're now on podcasts. I wanted to say Spotify. We're now on podcast, and we are available on Spotify, Switcher, Anchor, and all of your favorite podcast platforms. Except for Apple Podcasts, we're still working on that, but we're available everywhere else. So all you need to do is search for Soy Chin Chow and subscribe to the show LTA. So Soy Chin Chow on any of your favorite podcast platforms, and we'll be there. So please subscribe. If you like the show, give us a thumbs up. Hey, no, you don't have thumbs up on... Do you have that? Anyway, give us a 5-star rating or a review. It really helps a lot for us to grow the show on podcast. And also, drop us comments, suggestions on how we can improve. Okay. So we're going to get right into the topic today. Mobile World Congress is the biggest mobile and technology-related showcase in the world. Last year, I think about 110,000 people attended, including us. We've been there for 7 times. The show started in Barcelona in 2006. And this year I thought it was going to be a huge year for Mobile World Congress because it's 2020, people are going to talk about 5G, and there's going to be folding phones and everything else. But unfortunately, COVID-19 happened, and it kind of threw a spanner in the works. And the organizers of Mobile World Congress, which is GSMA, have announced, I think a couple of weeks back, that the event has been cancelled. And if you ask me, the cancellation of the Mobile World Congress 2020 is by far COVID-19's biggest victim. And we're going to talk about what is the impact the technology industry is going to have with the cancellation of Mobile World Congress 2020. We're going to talk about what Mobile World Congress is and why is it important, why is it special for people who cover technology. Like I said, we've been there. We've been to the city in Barcelona for 7 times. We bring the whole team down there to cover everything that happens in Mobile World Congress. There's a lot of amazing announcements, new devices, new technology, and it's something like a tradition already.
Like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, it's like a pilgrimage and a tradition, and it's something that we do every year. It's like Raya, or Christmas or Chinese New Year. We do every year, and this year it's like Raya got cancelled lah.
Yeah, Christmas cancelled.
Essentially. So, and then we're going to talk about hey, is it necessary to cancel the show? At the end, we're going to cover our thoughts and our opinions on what's next, right? Okay, so welcome to the show. We're going to talk about the cancellation of Mobile World Congress 2020 right here in Let's Talk About. Okay, so before we begin, I think we already begin lah. Now I'm just going to ask Alex. Okay, Alex, can you break down what is Mobile World Congress essentially?
Okay, so Mobile World Congress, which is better known as MWC Barcelona, like you said, is the biggest mobile show of the year. And it's organized by GSMA. So basically, GSMA is like an organization that represents over 1,200 mobile operators around the world. This whole event started off as a mobile conference in 1987 in Brussels, and eventually it was renamed to GSM World Congress. And that was in Rome in 1990. And that time there wasn't a fixed venue. It was moving around, so it was organized in cities like Nice, Berlin, Lisbon, Madrid, Athens, and even Cannes. So it was held in Cannes for quite a long time. That's the same Cannes for the film festival, by the way. And it was later renamed to 3GSM World Congress in 2003.
3G.
Yeah, 3G, yeah. And eventually, it moved to Barcelona, so it's been there since 2006.
Yep.
And the whole event was renamed to MWC in 2008. And why is it in Barcelona? Is because the GSMA has signed a long-term deal, a long-term contract with with Barcelona, and it will be held there until 2023.
Yeah, so obviously, when an event, so the event is in the span of 4 days. So it's usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We as a team will fly out the Friday before, land on Saturday, get ready on Sunday, and then cover the whole thing the whole week. Even on Sunday, there will be a event, small events going on. Previously, so nowadays, we have launches in San Francisco, in New York, in Paris, and in
Las Vegas,
and Cupertino. So a lot of brands are now branching out and doing their own thing. But before that, everything happened in Mobile World Congress. I think only just recently, about a couple of years or 2 or 3 years back, Samsung moved out and did their own thing.
Huawei as well.
And Huawei as well. But before that, everybody launched every big device for the year in Mobile World Congress. And that's why it's a huge deal. So the reason why I'm saying that, so it's a 4-day event. People usually come in the weekend before. People usually stay in like the week, within that week, and then go back the weekend after. You know, for an event that brings in 100,000 people, 110,000 people in 2019, the impact in terms of cost is huge. So this cancellation is massive, not just for Mobile World Congress and people like us, but it's also for everybody there, like, you know, the restaurants, the hotels, the Airbnbs, the drivers, the pickpocketers, the people who pickpocket, so earn a lot of money, okay? At that time, I mean, we lost a bag, camera, we've been through it all. It's massive. I mean, it's an experience lah. So some estimates are saying that we're going, not we, but Barcelona, the city and everything, is estimated to lose about 500 million USD.
That's about 2 billion ringgit.
Yeah, 2 billion ringgit within the span of that week. It's a massive deal. When Mobile World Congress announced that when GSMA announced that they're going to cancel the event, a lot of questions cropped up. It's like, okay, what is the agenda here? Because, okay, let's go back. The reason for this cancellation is because of COVID-19, the coronavirus. But it turns out Spain is not really at risk, right, Alex?
Yep. So since the cancellation, right, there were 2 confirmed cases. Even today, when we record this, there's only 2 cases. And what's more interesting is that the 2 cases isn't even in the actual mainland Spain.
Near.
Yeah, one of it's in the Canary Islands, which is somewhere in Africa. And another one is in Mallorca, so it's an island off Spain, the mainland of Spain.
Yeah. So I think the Spanish government has also came out to say that this cancellation is weird. There is no safety and health concerns with regard to Mobile World Congress. Like Alex has mentioned, there's only been 2 recorded cases of the COVID-19 in Spain. And these cases are like, far, you need to take a plane to get to these places. I mean, compare that to Singapore, which is like the worst after China. Malaysia's better than Singapore, by the way. How many cases in Singapore?
Singapore, the last count from KKM is 84 as of yesterday.
Yeah, 84 cases. And, I don't know, people still going to Singapore. Well, I think recently they've just put out an announcement that they're going to stop people from leaving
the house.
So they have an order to make people to stay at home. That's Singapore. Okay, what we're saying here is that in Barcelona itself, COVID-19 is not really a huge deal. So why did GSMA make this very controversial decision to cancel MWC?
Well, if I have to blame someone, I would say LG. Because what happened was, okay, let's go through the timelines. Okay. So LG was the first exhibitor to announce that they're pulling out from MWC due to health concerns. I think this was after WHO announced it as like a public? It's like a world concern.
It's a global. Okay, there's an official name for it,
yeah, global emergency, health emergency.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that you need to panic. Yeah. So LG was supposed to announce, and then ZTE, they've also cancelled their press event. But still, ZTE will still proceed with the exhibition. So LG announced first. Then a few days later, a lot of brands also evaluated, like, should we cancel or should we not cancel? Then on the 10th of February, Amazon, Nvidia, Ericsson, Sony, they all pull out. And that sparked the whole thing, whole cancellation.
Kind of like snowball.
It's kind of snowball. Yeah. So I guess this created a pressure for other brands. So I think 1 or 2 days later, more brands joined in as well. Okay. There's Vivo, Cisco, Intel, Facebook, NTT Docomo, they pull out as well. And I think the final nail to the coffin is the mobile operators. Because shortly after those announcements, Nokia, Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, Orange, BT, they all pull out. All the major telcos from Europe are not participating in MWC. So I guess in that moment, it's kind of pointless to have an event when the big names are not there. About 50 over brands.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so it snowballed, and the risk, okay, it's kind of like a catch-22. The risk is if we still continue, you have this huge hall.
Yep.
And the Mobile World Congress exhibition area is massive. I think it spans like 4 halls.
No, I think 8 halls, 9 halls is huge.
Yeah, it's massive, okay? So with all these big brands pulling out, you're gonna have like a huge empty hall. That's one. So I don't know if the GSMA has done like enough to like convince the brands to stay. For me, I don't agree with this pulling out thing because it seems like it's a lot of panic for a lot of nothing. Again, I'm not trying to like undermine the risk of the COVID-19 virus, but you know, we have to look at it in a scientific way, in a smart and calculated way, in a way that, hey, if you go to Barcelona, and in Spain in general, there's only 2 cases affected, you're not gonna have an issue. It's gonna be like super low risk. Okay, from 110,000 people that came in 2019, how many percent is from China anyway?
In terms of the visitors coming from China, based on past history, there's about 5,000 to 6,000 visitors, attendees from China. So there's about 5 to 6%.
These are including visitors and contractors and whatever.
Yeah,
so about
correct.
5,000 people. That's less than how many percent?
It's about 5-6%.
Okay, it's about. Okay, so people will say, yeah, it's 5-6%, but if any one of them carry the virus, then it could spread out. It could become an outbreak. Barcelona could be another city in lockdown. Yes, there is that risk, but the organizers and the government has also assured, right?
Yep.
They've put in measures.
Correct. So like for example, the Spanish government said that they are prepared for any outbreak. Even GSMA, they've taken additional steps. Like for example, travelers who come from the affected province of Hubei, that's where Wuhan is, they are not allowed to access the event. And they also done a few things, like for example, they're going to deploy additional temperature screening. They're going to have require attendees to certify that they have not been in contact with anyone who's infected. And even in terms of the common spaces, GSMA has also assured that they're going to do more disinfectation in like common areas, like in the catering area, surfaces. And the most drastic step is that they're going to recommend a no handshake policy. So that actually reduces the risk of contracting the disease.
So they've already put controls in place.
Yep.
I think one thing also I wanted to add is that if you are going to Mobile World Congress and you've been to China, you need to prove that you've come out from China at least 2 weeks prior. Yep. That means you haven't been you need to be outside of China more than 2 weeks before you could even enter the Mobile World Congress area. I don't know, those safety measures seems adequate to me.
Yep.
And it's a shame because we've been to a lot of congresses and conferences. We've been to CES in Las Vegas. We've been to IFA in Germany. That's like another consumer electronics showcase in Europe.
Computex in Taipei.
Computex in Taipei. So we've been to tons of conferences. And it's a shame because Mobile World Congress is, for me at least, the best. It's one of my most favorite things to do in the year. It's like a highlight of working in technology. It's really amazing lah. Basically, Barcelona is a nice city, and the showcases you see in the exhibition is really good. And the experience is so pleasant because it's so well organized, right?
Yeah. I think one that stood out is the media center. It's like, like with Recover Tech, right? You need to, after you capture the footage, you get hands-on, you need a place to sit down and write the story, to edit your videos, and to upload to YouTube or Facebook. So I think among all the events I've been to, MWC in Barcelona is the best because they have proper media centers with enough seats. Internet is great. You can upload 4K videos in just a matter of minutes, and it's a good environment. And one thing I like is that it's well organized. I mean, they're proper signages, and then getting in and out from the area is so convenient with public transport, and they even provide a free transit pass for free.
It's super efficient lah. So the transit pass, for example, so people who are attendees who get passes to attend Mobile World Congress, in the pass you actually get a transit ticket. That ticket gives you unlimited rides to buses, trains, ferries, whatever, within the time that you spend there, so within the Congress date. So if it's 4 days, that 4 days is unlimited ride for all of the Congress attendees. And that's massive. Public transportation, the media center, a lot of people take it for granted. The media center in CES, for example, is terrible. IFA, you don't even
The connection is
don't
bad.
bother lah. Mobile World Congress is awesome. There's a lot of media centers, and I think it's the only media center, if I can recall, that offers free cookies.
Yeah.
No other media center, and the cookies are really great. I guess the word I want to say is like really sayang lah. So there was like a lot of question on whether this was fueled by other things. One of the speculation was maybe because Mobile World Congress has become like too big and it has become like kind of like unrelevant because we're not talking about mobile specifically anymore, because since we have 5G and everything else, like the technology has gone into homes and cars and everything else, and it's not mobile anymore, and it's just too big for it to be relevant. But on the other side, GSMA earns a lot of money from brands and also from attendees. So for people who are not media, who don't have what's it called?
Media accreditation,
you need to pay to access, and the cheapest ticket
is 700 euros.
Is 700 euros, and that's like the basic ticket. So, and it's 700 euros times 110,000 people is 770,000, right? That's my maths.
700 euros. 700,000. Okay, let me just do
That's
the math.
7 million. 700 times 100.
Yeah, it's 70 million.
70 million euros.
And that's not counting consideration of the more expensive passes like the platinum pass, where you get access to VIP speakers that cost about 5,000 euros.
Yeah, and then the other aspect is that we need to protect the business decision makers, the C-suites, and everybody are going to be there. It's all a bit of a waste because even 2 days before GSMA announces the cancellation, they were still sending out invites and they were still treating the event as if it's still going on. I guess I can't blame them. It's you hope for the best, and I guess you're right, Alex. The brand, but what perplexes me the most, and if you've been watching and listening to LTA, right, we've covered the Wuhan virus in another show, and there we talked about like the problem is not the virus itself, but it's the panic and fear mongering and disinformation that's happening, and we talked about like how there is real consequences to things like this, and the cancellation of Mobile World Congress is this happening in real life at the worst level possible. Like this is the most maximum impact. The next biggest event that's going to happen this year is Olympics in in August. And I don't know if things are not getting better, right? This is just going to be problematic lah. And ironically, of all the brands that pull out, there are still brands that are having things there. So you're going. Alex is going to Barcelona. Yeah. So what's going on?
So Huawei and Honor, they're still going to proceed with the event. It's happening on the 24th of February. So on the first day when MWC was supposed to happen. So they're going to launch in Barcelona anyway. Yeah.
Alex is going. I think Anip and Nick is also going to mobile. They're going to Barcelona for events organized by Huawei and Honor.
#No Barcelona.
It's ironic. And while we talk about like the big brands they're pulling out, the concern here is that the small players. So in Mobile World Congress, there's like a huge market area where a lot of small brands showcase their products. A lot of apps, a lot of startups, a lot of mobile accessories, cases and things like that. They pay money to exhibit and they pay money to bring their teams there. Okay, while the event is insured, another controversy is that the insurance that the organizer has taken up does not cover incidences like this. So nobody is getting their money back. And a lot of the big companies have been saying, okay, we're going to expect to lose some money. That's fine for them, but for small companies, it's a huge deal, even for us. So we traditionally pay our own flight tickets, and also for our own accommodation. So about 6 people will be going to Mobile World Congress on a yearly basis, and that's close to 40,000 ringgit from our own pocket. This small company. That's burned. We just lost 40k because of this, not because of this virus, but because of people panicking, and that just pisses me off. What do you think, dude?
I agree with you because it's not just about cost of setting up a booth, but they lose out on a huge opportunity. Why Mobile World Congress is important is because anyone who participates there, if you have a booth, you have access to the big players. A small guy with a great idea can talk to a big telco or another device manufacturer to seek new opportunities. And especially when 5G is going to be big this year, they're going to lose that out for this year.
Yeah.
The networking opportunities especially.
For companies that are like, this is like a make or break for them, it could break them.
Yep.
Because Europe is not cheap also. And there's a lot of Malaysian companies that go there to showcase what they have. It's sad lah. I don't know. Well, that's pretty much it in terms of Mobile World Congress. Okay, then what about like the brands? Where are they gonna launch their stuff after this? What's gonna happen?
So most of the brands, like for example, brands like Sony and Realme, what they're going to do is they're going to launch it virtually. So they're going to proceed with like a live stream. So it's like a virtual launch. And the rest, they are postponing to another date. Maybe they're going to launch somewhere in Europe. Like for example, Xiaomi, they're going to launch, if I'm not mistaken, another European city. Yeah. So the implication about this is that not all media will be able to have a proper hands-on. So that means that not everyone, the readers, can get a proper perspective to it. The reason why MWC is very important is that all media around the world will be there in the city in the same time. So any device, right, we all have the opportunity to have a proper hands-on, to have a good first impression, and to have a proper reporting. Without that, we only can watch it from a live stream. We don't have a full perspective. And there's a couple of things that we gain from MWC. Like for example, when Sony announced their phones, Nokia announced their phones, it would take months or maybe half a year or never come to Malaysia. Then MWC is the only opportunity for us to experience those devices. Even like the latest device like the Huawei Mate X, which was launched last year. If we didn't go to MWC, we will never get a chance to have a hands-on.
Yeah, and the device has never been launched outside of China.
Yeah.
So usually when we talk about like the impact of the COVID-19 virus, right, we talk about like how it's impacting the tourism industry, the hotel industry, some impact on the technology industry because factories were closing and all that. But this is the one that like really struck closest to home. It directly impacted us, our colleagues in the industry, and everybody that's involved. And it comes back to this thing where how far are we going to fuel this panic and this fire of misinformation and whatever to a point that it's really going to cost people money.
Yep.
So I guess it's back to that point where we talked about in our episode in the COVID-19 in the COVID-19 podcast. We in Malaysia, so a lot of the people in the media, they like to talk about this coronavirus as a global outbreak. It's global in technical terms lah, to be honest. I think only a handful of countries are affected. And again, the biggest country that is, not the biggest, the country that is most affected out of China is Singapore.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the current stats with regards to the COVID-19 virus?
So as of 20th of February, there's about 75,000 confirmed cases and 2,133 deaths, mostly from China. So if you look at the numbers, right, 98% of confirmed cases are from China, 99% of deaths are from China. And coming in second place is Singapore with 84 confirmed cases. Japan as well, 84.
How many deaths in Singapore?
0.
Okay.
The only deaths outside of China is Japan with 1 count, France in 1 count.
That one death in Japan is a Chinese national.
I believe so.
If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
I usually am not. But yeah, okay.
And then Philippines 1 and Iran 2.
Okay.
And also on a cruise ship another 2.
Yeah, so basically, again, the risk is there for one person to infect like a whole city. The risk is obviously there, but it seems like the virus is very well contained within Singapore and maybe some parts of, not within Singapore, within China and Singapore. In Malaysia, I want to point out that we have the best in terms of like health systems to be able to contain systems and processes to be able to contain this outbreak. Our country has been praised by WHO numerous times on how we handle the cases and the number of people that has recovered from COVID-19. I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is that, okay, we started this discussion with Mobile World Congress, and then we came to a point where the reason of the cancellation, at least for us, is unfounded. There is no reason, no fear to be worried about with regards to Mobile World Congress, and the impact is massive. We don't know what the multiplier is. We don't know what the outcome will be in 3 to 6 months time after this, because it is a place where, like Alex mentioned, where we try new devices, where companies get new breaks, get new clients, able to expand their businesses, and that has not happened. And that impact, the result of that impact might surface itself, later this year. But there are interesting launches still happening, I hope. I think Huawei is going to launch a device.
Affordable device, likely. You'll find out when this video is out.
In Barcelona. Honor is going to launch something. Throughout the year, of course, Samsung has already launched theirs in San Francisco. So there are definitely still a lot to look out for in terms of new devices coming out. 5G is going to roll out in Malaysia sometime in the second half, third to fourth quarter of this year. You're going to see a new iPad coming soon, a new iPhone, a new Note. So it is still going to be an eventful year, but it's something unprecedented to have an event as big as Mobile World Congress to be cancelled.
Yeah. So the question is, what happens after this? If a big event like this can be cancelled, what else can be cancelled?
It could be the Olympics. I don't know. Okay, I'm not fear-mongering here. So I just want to make it clear, we are like super anti-fear-mongering and disinformation. As far as I am concerned, and as much as I've read, a number of experts have mentioned that the COVID-19 virus is showing signs of decreasing in terms of the number of people being infected. Countries like Malaysia have been sharing information with Japan and other countries. The protocol in terms of handling patients with this virus has improved, and hence why the recovery rate has increased, especially in Malaysia. I hope the Olympic Games will not be cancelled, and I hope things will get better. So at the same time, I want to appeal to everybody that's listening to this podcast or watching this video. Please equip yourself with the right information and help spread that right information to everybody, and at the same time try to really kill out this fake news with regards to this COVID-19 virus, because now a lot of people are saying more viruses are coming out whatever there's so many crap out there. Just equip yourself with the right knowledge. The best way to do that is obviously to come to sTalkAbout and also read legit news sources and not get news from your WhatsApp group or Facebook. Okay? Alright, Alex, anything you want to say before we close this episode?
Well, I think you hit all the right points. Just want to add to that, right? Why are we so worried about the coronavirus? I mean, there are more things to worry about. You're more likely to die in a car crash than contracting this disease. Yeah. So my advice is to stay calm and practice good hygiene.
Yeah, wash your hands. A very good point. You're more likely to die in a car crash. I guess if I do my maths correct, maybe you're more likely to die in a plane crash heading to Barcelona, or you're more likely to get pickpocketed in Barcelona than to catch COVID-19. Or you're more likely to drink a Corona beer in Barcelona than to get COVID-19. So let's try to help each other and stop spreading all this weird stuff. Okay, everybody? Alright, that's pretty much it for today. This is the show, Let's Talk About. We're available on all your favorite podcast platforms except for Apple Podcasts. So search for us on all your podcast platforms. Soya Chinchao, and subscribe to our show LTA, Let's Talk About, and give us a review if you like the show. For those of you guys who are watching this show on YouTube, give us a thumbs up if you like the show. Let us know down below if there's any topics or suggestions or comments that you want us to read and respond to. We'll be more than happy to do that. And don't forget to subscribe to soyachinchao.com on YouTube. And as always, our home on the internet is soyachinchao.com. This is Amin.
This is Alex.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys later.
Bye.